Hey everybody, I'm back working on the Camaro, and today's project, the shifter and the shift plate that I installed, oh goodness, it's been several weeks ago and it was working good for quite a while, but now the flag that shows, park, reverse, neutral and so forth, the flag is off. And if you'll remember in a previous video that I did, when I put this plate on, I was having trouble with that flag staying. I found what the right position was to put the flag in, and then I used a couple of dabs of hot glue to hold it there. Well, I'm going to guess is that the hot glue didn't do the job. It wasn't good enough. So I'll show you what it looks like, and then I'm going to take it apart and see if I can't make a better attempt at locking this in place so that it works properly. I got the snap ring out and I got the knob off. That takes a fair amount of wrestling around, but got that. So now we'll take all the screws back out. I was hoping I wasn't going to have to pull this off again, but okay, so we'll slip her off of there, bulb out, and yes, my hot glue is broken loose. It didn't stay stuck. So to get a little bit better look at it here, here's the part. And there's the my 2 dots of hot glue. And you can see, if you look here, let's see if we get the right angle on it. You can see that the black part is out of position and the hot glue bead here has popped off. And the hot glue bead in the front has popped off. Now I could probably run a longer bead. I just need to take a good hard look at what the right way is to make this better. So, alright, let me think about that and take another look here. Well, first thing, I'm going to kind of repeat this step. Right now I have it in neutral, parking brake on. And I put some blue tape on the back here to try to hold it in position for 1 minute, just long enough to, I want to test. I think I know where it belongs because of where my glue dots are from the hot glue, but I want to sort of double check. So, alright, so right now I'm in neutral and the flag is in neutral real nice. There's drive. There's reverse, there's park, the assembly, I don't have screws in it, but it looks pretty darn good. Neutral, drive, overdrive, drive, 2, 1. Alright, so that's where it needs to be. So now I'm going to take it off. My tape mostly stayed put, but see this black piece is popping out of its groove again. It doesn't like to stay put, and I don't quite understand why. Maybe it needs, more clearance to the side of the hole, but I've already got it pretty well shaved out, so. When I did this the last time, I went in there and cleared that out some more. So I'm not quite sure, but I have a position. So I'm going to go and take it inside and we'll start working on that. Alright, here's the part on the bench, and peel off my blue tape. And this basically makes sense because this corner glue dot is just about back where it was before. It's right up there. This one I can't tell because it kind of tore off, so I'll tear it off the rest of the way. Turn that around actually. Maybe you get a better look. See, I put a glue dot here and I put a glue dot there, and that just didn't quite do it. And there's a little tab here that was in the original design, but that's kind of getting knocked off by this. I don't understand why the black piece wants to move, other than when you shift all the way to the back and the lever starts to lay down, I think it starts to push this down. It's kind of a challenge, but what I think I'm going to do first is I am going to put 2 dots there, and I'm going to tack this back together, and then I'm going to go out and try it in the car. And just before you go too far, you want to make sure you got it handled. Then I think where I'm going to go is on the inside here, inside the black part, there's a tab. So this white piece comes down, and there's a tab that goes around the back, and there's a tab that goes around, and there's a tab that goes around the front. So this piece has a tab sticking out here and tab sticking out there. Well, here it's pretty thick because I've got it adjusted all the way to the back, but the tab in the back is out here in the thin area. And I think I'm going to try to do is come in there with my drill and drill a small hole just through the black part. And I thought about this earlier, but I didn't do it. I'm going to try to put an aluminum pop rivet in there and see if I can pin these two together. So it'll be a combination of glue down this side, here, and a pop rivet. That's my plan. And before I glue, I'm going to take a little Scotch-Brite and rough the surface up to give it a better bond. When I did this the first time, I considered running a whole bead down along this side, but it just seemed to me at the time that I really didn't need to do that, and the 2 dots ought to hold it, but the 2 dots obviously did not hold it, so we're going to go to plan B here. So as soon as my glue gun warms up, I'm going to put a couple dots on there, I'll try it, and I'll be back. Alright, I've tried this in the car with 2 dots and verified that the flag runs through its whole set of ranges and the adjustment is right. The thing is, with glue dots, I can always cut the glue dots or peel them off and move it and adjust it. But once I go start drilling holes, you really want to be sure that you got it in the right place. Or you'll have to drill out the rivet and move it a little and make another hole, which isn't always the simplest thing to do, and causes wear on the part. So I did do 2 glue dots. I did hold it down because this black piece can spread apart. So I held it down while the glue set. Now that I've got that complete, and I know that's where I want it, I'm going to add some additional glue to this. And this is that special plastic bonding glue that I used on the console, on the carpet. It's pretty doggone good. Now I don't want to get glue on this part because that's where this flag slides. So you want to keep it up on this white part, white and the black. That's what we're trying to hook together. So let's see here. Put a little extra here in the front. I'm going to put a much more generous bead than just 2 dots. How's that sound? Alright. Then I'm going to push it down so that it sets in the compressed position. And this may take a couple minutes, but we'll let her sit until it. Next, I would like to try to put one of these aluminum pop rivets back in this section. The shortest ones you can usually get are 1/8 inch. I've got a box of 100 here that are aluminum short grip. They're 1/8 inch diameter, and they're supposed to be an 1/8 inch grip. So right now I would say, you know, they look a little bit long. I'm going to waste one of these, and let's compress this down and see what we get when we punch one down. Put it in my tool. If we pull that back, oh, there we go. Take a second bite. Yeah, it jumped, but that's okay. So what we end up with is a rivet. Rivet like that. So the ball pulls up inside and the stem breaks off, and you end up with it'll be shorter than the two thicknesses right here. The hot glue is pretty well set right now. It's really hard to see because this light section's in the way, but there's a tab right here. The white part has a tab inside the black section right there, and I'm going to go in there and I am going to try to drill that guy out. And put in the rivet. So I want to be really sure that I don't drill through the top surface that you see in the car that is trim. So there's a big hole here. I have a piece of galvanized sheet steel, piece of some drip edge from the house, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay that piece right here over the hole, and then I'm going to back up this. The section I'm going to drill is over the hole, and there's a piece of sheet metal there just for doubly good measure to make sure that I don't accidentally drill too far. And you know, ultimately, I know sometimes I'm more than doubly careful, but it's always easier to go slow and do it right than to mess up and have to, you know, buy a new part or repair a mistake you made. So it's, you know, the old theory about measure twice and cut once. Sometimes I measure 3 times and cut once. Use a little chunk of tape as a depth gauge. So I'm drilling over the hole. The white tab is right about here. So we're going to go so there's the hole through the piece on the bottom. That's what we want to hit, and it looks like it went through, and it went through the white tab. We'll load up the gun here again. There we go. Now we start by putting the rivet into the hole and make sure I got it where I want it. Gotta do this gently so you don't break anything. In fact, I think I need to go through there just a little more with the drill. It's a little tight. And it's an 1/8 inch drill and an 1/8 inch bit, or 1/8 inch rivet. I almost could go to the next size drill to help this go in. But we're just about there. Use that to help push. There we go. We can see that we got the rivet. So you can kind of see that the rivet's protruding just slightly out the other side. And what we're going to do is we're going to just hold that guy down. Generally, these little ones, like, they'll go about 2, sometimes they'll go 3 pumps, but pop and it's done. It's got just a small, it has just a small protrusion on the back side here, and actually that protrusion is plastic, so that isn't going to hurt anything. So at this stage I have a rivet and I have a lot more glue, and that rivet ought to keep these two pieces together. So at the moment I'm saying I'm pretty happy. We'll see how it goes when I get it in the car, right? But the glue is stronger. I have a secondary mechanical. Feels plenty solid. Now that rivet, this black piece here is 2 layers. I mean, it's got a gap in it. So the rivet protrudes through the back side and through the white piece, but it doesn't go through both sides of the black. If I had a longer rivet, it would be tending to push into this piece, so that's why I picked an 1/8 inch. If you had a longer one, you might be able to use that, and it would pick up both layers. But for right now, I'm going to go put her in the car and we'll see how it works. Alright, so I got this screwed back, just about back on, and it's still sitting in neutral. I have to go under the seat and fetch the last screw that I dropped below, but okay, I'm in neutral. Set the knob on here for the moment. That looks good. Back, put the clip on it in the middle. Okay, so there's reverse, there's park, drive, 2, 1. And that's where it belongs. You can kind of over travel it just a little. That's it. There's 2. I know you aren't seeing all the flags because you're on the other side of the lever, but looks like it's working. We'll try that again and we'll see if it holds up. I don't see any reason why it shouldn't, but then I thought it was going to be right the first time. Well, I've got it together. It works in all the shift positions. So I'll take it out on the road and try it here in a bit, and we'll see if it holds up a little longer than the other one. I only got a few weeks out of the last fix. Hopefully this one's a little bit more permanent. See y'all later.